who just joined, my name is Iris. I am from the Admissions Marketing and Recruitment team at University College Groningen. And this evening, I will give you a short insight in our Liberal Arts and Sciences Bachelor program. And we're really happy because our program got elected top rated program this year by a sort of Dutch higher education guide, which is the Keuzegids. So we're really happy that we can put this nice little stamp on our session. Now let's see, is this working? Yes, it is. So for the people who are maybe a little bit confused as to what UCG is, so University College Groningen is a faculty, so we belong to the research university, the University of Groningen, so we fall underneath them, and we offer one bachelor program, which is the Liberal Arts and Sciences. Now, maybe you've already have an idea of what Liberal Arts and Sciences entails, because it's a little bit different than the traditional bachelor programs that are normally offered here in the Netherlands. So in short, the Liberal Arts and Sciences is a bachelor program which is very interdisciplinary. It has a very international character as well. It's selective, but not in a very rigid way, so not in a numerus fixus way. It's fully taught in English and it's quite small scale. So does everyone know, by the way, what I mean when I say numerus fixus? And if you don't, that's absolutely fine, and I would be happy to elaborate a little bit more on that, just to clarify things. So let me know. Okay. So we designed our Liberal Arts and Sciences program quite carefully because we would like you to have the opportunity in the first year to explore. Of course, most of our first year students who come there who maybe have never lived away from home, maybe it's a different country, a different culture, different language. So in the first year, we give you the opportunity to explore the full breadth of the program, so to say, and to give you some sort of opportunity to have a soft landing at university life, because that can be a little bit different than what you're used to at high school as well. So we do not ask for a focus upon entry. Now, what we also don't do is we let you study for like a full semester, or we work in a little bit in a different way in the Netherlands, but we won't let you study for a full semester and then only have one exam at the end of a course. What we do is in each course, we'll give you at least 3 points of assessment. And by this, we mean that you could do an essay in the 3rd week of your course. You could have to do a presentation in the 6th week, and then you will end the course with an exam. But in this way, you will always have multiple assessments to make up for an assessment if you feel like, oh, I could have done that better. And of course, there are sometimes also repairs for certain courses, but that's not always the case with every course. Is everyone still with me? Let me know, okay? And if I go too fast, please feel free to let me know as well. Of course, I know the program, but it can be quite a lot to take in if you haven't never heard of it before. So please let me know if everything goes well and if you're still with me in the session, okay? So what we do is we respect students' autonomy and freedom of choice. And by this, we mean, of course, it's quite linked to the exploratory aspect that I mentioned before, but you'll have lots of freedom in your 2nd and 3rd year specifically, because you'll have the opportunity to select multiple electives. You could even completely have a say of the direction of your Liberal Arts and Sciences program, and I'll get back to that later. Now, with this freedom and with this exploration, of course, that can be quite stressful as well, because you'll have so much to choose from and what will be the right way for you. And of course, we fully understand that, because it can be quite a daunting thing to think of what is the direction for you within the Liberal Arts and Sciences. Where do you want to go afterwards as well. Where do you want to maybe do a master's? Where do you see yourself working in what type of field? So because there's all these choices, we have quite a dedicated guidance team who you see on the picture on this slide right here, who will help you with these types of choices. So especially for a free major, and I'll get back to the free major as well, it can be quite a lot for you to make decisions. And these amazing people are here to help you make the right decision for you. And not only on, of course, on an academic level, but you can also connect with them if there is a personal issue you'd like to discuss. And if they feel like there is even more you'd like to discuss, they can always forward you to the university guidance services as well, since we are, of course, falling underneath the University of Groningen. Oh, I need to do it like this. So maybe you already have a sense of this, but back in the day, for example, my parents, they used to have jobs that they would have for their whole life. So they would start their job, let's say at 20, 25 maybe, and they would do that job until they would retire. Nowadays, that's not exactly the case anymore. The job market is very fluent, very dynamic. And if you, for example, think of an app developer or an IT specialist or a data analyst, these types of jobs weren't available, let's say, well, maybe 15 to 20 or maybe even 10 years ago. So it might be that in the next 10 years, there will be such a different set of jobs in the job market that we don't even know, that aren't even existing right now. So that is why that's what we try to anticipate within our liberal arts and sciences program, that we will make you a, how do you say it? A very, not a fluent type of way, but that you'll be a very dynamic person that can adapt quite easily to ever-changing circumstances. I think that's the best way to pronounce it. So of course you have your hard skills and your academic skills, but what we do see in the job market is that soft skills, and especially those emotional skills, that become much more important. And that is what we try to weave into a program as well, specifically through the means of project work and through creative assignments within courses. So it really teaches you how to be creative, but also critical, communicative, especially if you work in a multicultural, multinational team for your project, then you really gain those skills within the program. Now, to sum it up, I would say the liberal arts and sciences skills at UCG makes you really prepare for many different careers, the option to transition between careers because it's a very fluent job market out there, a variety of master studies, and this really depends on the direction you choose within the second and third year. And it really helps you to collaborate with others, and not in the basic term of collaboration, but really also see that view of that person and get that 360 interdisciplinary view of a project that you need to do. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about the program overview, but before we continue, because this was quite a lot to take in, I want to see how you guys are doing. So if you could put a smiley, or like an emoji, sorry, an emoji in the chat box as to how are you doing? Are you still with us? Is it new information for you, or did you already know a little bit? So an emoji on how are you feeling in this session. A smiley face. I'm so happy that you're doing that. Okay, good. Okay, great. I'm happy that I still got your attention. So then we can move forward. Oh, only happy faces. Thank you. Okay, so this is a program overview of your liberal arts and sciences program at UCG. So of course you have your major space, your academic core, and your minor space. So let's start with that academic core at the bottom. So this is basically the foundational courses that you will have in your first, second, and third year. These are courses such as research, academic skills, academic writing, presentation skills, and of course your projects, because you'll have projects in all of the 3 years at UCG, and of course the academic and personal development as well. Then we'll move over to your major, because that will be the main body of your second and third year, so to say. So this could be your disciplinary home. It really depends how your major looks like, based on what you will choose in your second and third year. So it might be that you're interested in biology, in psychology. Serena, I see you're showing your hand. Is there something you would like to ask? Please let me know, because I would be happy to answer your question. But maybe it's also an accident. I know that these showing hands things can be quite tricky sometimes. So the major is really there for you to fill in. So it might be that you are really interested in biology, international business, maybe international relations, and your classmates really interested in the humanities, so cultural change, cultural behavior. So these types of things will be in your major. Does that make sense? Let me know. Then I'll just quickly move over to the minor space, and this is a good one. Do we need to share our major minor during the application? No, definitely not. So the first year is all for you to explore. You don't need to have a vision of your major or minor at all. You'll start this in, I would say, the second semester of the first year. Then you'll slowly start to see, okay, what type of direction would I like to go into in the second and third year. Ooh, what kind of projects are there? There are so many projects. Hold on, maybe I can find some examples for you. So sometimes there are projects, most of the times the projects are linked to a recurring problem in nowadays society. So I do know that sometimes it's quite local. So that's a problem that the municipality of Groningen sometimes is faced with. So I do know there's a project what was looking into the accessibility of the city of Groningen for less able people, and that was quite shocking, I must say. So that's just a really tiny example, and I'm going to see if I can find some more examples for you. And then we'll continue, sorry. UCG projects. And it really depends on the year, I must say. Oh, here we go. Is it this one I was looking for? Yes, so this gives you a little bit of an insight. They're rather a little bit older, but that doesn't mean that they're less useful, I would say. So they're also, and that's the first one you see if you click that link, it's the New Groninger cookbook. So it's a cookbook that students created with Groninger, so local recipes, but then with an international intercultural influence, which is really nice to see. But those are just a few examples. And if you have the time, I would definitely recommend you to check out the link. And yeah, of course, anytime. Okay, so back to the program overview. We've talked about the academic core, we talked about major, so now we're going to move to the final part, which is your minor. So your minor space is a smaller space, much smaller space than your major space. So your major space is in the second and third year, and your minor space is only one semester in your final year, so in your third year. So this space is really a free space for you to, maybe you want to go on exchange, maybe you want to do an internship, you could do a university minor, personal minor, I know some students use this space, of course, to go on exchange, so study abroad. But other students already know what type of master they want to go into, and they use that space, that minor space, to follow courses that will be a good connection to that master, for example. But that's just an example. So basically, the minor space is a free space for you to choose from these things. So either university minor, a personal minor, an internship, or study abroad. And maybe there's even a way for you to combine the study abroad and an internship, or that's in the works. So I can't promise you anything on that. Now, I've already talked a little bit about the free major, and maybe you thought, what does she mean by this free major? So here you have the meaning of the different major styles that we have. I must say, though, we don't use the term specialization anymore because that was quite confusing. Now it's more of a focus area. So for now, I'll focus on the free major and the major. So the free major is basically a major style that you could do, and it gives you a lot of freedom as to what you can choose for your second and third year. It really gives you the opportunity to combine multiple interests. So if you're interested in the sciences and the social sciences, or the humanities and the sciences, so let's pick an example, maybe psychology and international business, then through the free major, and of course with the help of someone from our guidance team, you'll sit down together and you're going to check what type of courses you can pick and choose to make sure that your interests are fulfilled. So the psychology and the international business interests that you have, and to make sure that all the courses that you will follow are up to the standard required for you to receive a diploma at the end of your liberal arts and sciences program. So the free major, in short, gives you a lot of opportunities and a lot of options, and you're not alone on that one. You will receive help from a guidance support member to create this free major with you. Oh, great question. How many students select the free major option? Is there a potential negative for getting into a master's program? I would say the majority of our students actually select the free major option because most of them, they do have some sort of vision of what they want to do. And if they use the help of that guidance member, well, they need the help of a guidance member, then you can really carefully see if it will have a negative impact for master's programs. For some master programs, it's indeed better to follow a focus area. But for others, you can definitely do a free major, then use the minor space, for example, to choose some electives to make sure that you can get into that master program. But a master program is always on a very personal basis. So if you, and of course this is fully in the future, but if you apply for a master's program, they will always look on your on an individual level. So they'll always look at the course list that you followed. So if you followed a course list in your free major that could connect really well to a master's program, there's quite a high chance of you getting into a master's program. And sometimes you might need to do a pre-master program, but since that's such a specific topic, there's not that much I can tell you right now as to what direction you'd like to go into. Of course, our guidance members, if you already have an idea of what direction you would like to go into after UCG, then our guidance members can definitely help you to either give you the right direction as to how you can figure it out, or they can help you as well. I hope that answers your question, Serena. Then, of course, you have the major, and this is something that you could basically see as your disciplinary home. There's a amount of courses that are set in stone, and then around these courses, you can elect courses freely. So it's basically you add on to your disciplinary home anytime. And then, of course, you have the focus areas, and I'll come to those now. Yes. So here you see our focus areas, and these focus areas consist of a specific set of courses that are set in stone, and those are the courses that you follow. But I really want to make clear that these are options that you can choose for. So there's no need for you to choose a focus area if you don't want to. But I do know, for example, if students are really interested in health and life sciences or public health, then there is this focus area, health and life sciences, that will be very beneficial for them. So I would say let's just quickly go over all of them. All the focus areas are under the umbrella major area. So of course you have the humanities, the sciences, and the social sciences. Underneath humanities, you have social and cultural change and truth, meaning, and rationality. Truth, meaning, and rationality has quite some philosophy in there as well. Social and cultural change, it says it all already. So that really focuses on society, social, and culture. Then in the sciences, we have smart technologies, which is basically artificial intelligence and IT. Mind, machines, and morality has that artificial intelligence aspect as well, but it combines it with the moral implications of how fast the artificial intelligence is developing. So how do we make sure that there are laws in place for artificial intelligence? Then lastly, in the sciences, there's health and life sciences. So for people who are interested in pharmacy or medicine or public health, that will be the perfect focus area if that will be something that you want to do. Again, it's not necessary to choose a focus area, but it would be an option for the ones who already have a clear vision of what they'd like to do afterwards. Then for the social sciences, we have mind and behavior, which is psychology-based. Philosophy, politics, and economics says it all. It just says international business and entrepreneurship, and international relations and international law as well. Now, from these, I would say social sciences and the sciences are most popular, but we definitely each year have students who also choose for the humanities. Then, and this is just a little step out of the regular program. So for the students who are really interested in the PPE focus area, so philosophy, politics, and economics, there is an opportunity to do a double degree program with the University Ca' Foscari in Venice, which is located in Italy. And I know we have someone from Italy in the session here as well. So that might be fun for the people who are interested in PPE. A double degree program means that you'll do 2 years at UCG. So the first 2 years you'll do at UCG in Groningen in the Netherlands, and then the next 2 years you'll do at Ca' Foscari University in Venice, Italy. And if you are successful in participating in both programs and you get all the credits that you need, then you'll get 2 diplomas. So you get a liberal arts and sciences diploma from UCG, and then you get a PPE diploma from Ca' Foscari. Now, a big aspect actually from UCG and from the liberal arts and sciences in the Netherlands in general is community. So we have quite a vibrant community, if I may say so myself, especially because we have a very active study association called Kairos, and Kairos is for every student at UCG. So there are so many committees. So there is a cooking committee, a party planning committee, I believe, an introduction committee, which basically means that the introduction committee takes care of the first years who just started. And then also, and of course, they also organize trips, as you can see. And those are, of course, those can be social trips, but sometimes there's also academic sessions or academic trips that are being organized with a guest lecturer or a guest speaker to deepen your academic profile. And sometimes not even the cooking, you don't need to be a part of the cooking committee, but sometimes there was like cooking nights organized at the UCG building, which is really fun because we basically have one academic building, I would say. And I'll see if I can find our there we go. If I can find our building tour. It might be nice to show you this. You can just look at it at your own time. Let me see, where is it? Here we go. So, and in this building is where a lot of little events are organized by students, for students, and it's really nice. So if you have the opportunity to come by or to visit us, if you want to see what it looks like, please feel free to do so. We'd be happy to give you a tour always. Back to the community. So sometimes lecturers or our professors, as you can see on the top right corner, they sometimes also organize trips, field trips away. I think this one is on one of the islands of the Netherlands. So it's a really nice way to get out of the classroom, but still work on the academic matter of your course. Now, besides community, and this is basically where your community building already starts, is the accommodation. So we have a beautiful new accommodation tower in the city center of Groningen called Libertas. And it is guaranteed housing for all of our first years. So if you'd like a room in Libertas, then there is, or if you'd like a room, there's always room for you. It's not mandatory. So if you don't want to live in Libertas, that's absolutely fine. You just have to give us a reason for not wanting to live there. But what we do see is that most of our students tend to live in the accommodation that we provide them for, also because it's just a really nice way of getting to know your classmates, getting to know elderly years, especially second years, who sometimes still live in the building, and just get to know UCG, because basically everything that you're feeling as a first year student can be quite daunting and can be quite overwhelming sometimes, but you just have to remember that there's a full building of first years who experience the exact same thing as you. So it really gives a sense of community and a sense of you're not alone in what you experience. So I think that's really nice. So this was almost the end of our little session tonight. So if this really sounds like you're passionate, you're really involved with current worldly affairs, you want to have the ability and choice in your bachelor program to have some freedom and especially combine multiple interests that you have, and you like to have your bachelor program in a very international and intercultural environment, then I would definitely say look into our program maybe even more if this is something that piques your interest. Now, before I'll let you go and before I'll answer any of the questions that you might have, I want to show you a little bit of our alumni and where they are now. These are not all of our alumni, this is just a handful of them, but it shows that they're quite scattered, of course, through Europe, since we're based in the Netherlands, so we're quite Europe-based. But we also have people in the Americas. I think we even have people basically all around the world last time I checked. And here you also see in the bottom left corner just some examples of what our alumni have pursued in a master's program, and you also see some of the universities they went to pursue their masters. Now let's see, these are some good to know things, and I would say if you want to make a screenshot of this, feel free to do so, because these are quite important deadlines for you to remember if you're interested, of course, in our liberal arts and sciences program. So our final application deadline is the 1st of May. Then we'll have an early bird deadline on the 15th of January, which is fastly approaching since we're already at the beginning of December. Time flies. And if you make your application successful before the 15th of January, you'll have guaranteed housing in Libertas. Now, as I mentioned before, we always have guaranteed housing, but our main UCG building is Libertas. So if you apply after the 15th of January, it might be that Libertas is full and we'll have to place you in a different building with other UCG students as well. So you're never alone. That's something that I want to emphasize, but just a little thing to keep in mind. We have 150 available places per year. Once these 150 spots are filled, we'll have to run a wait list, so keep that in mind as well. We review applications on a rolling basis, and that means that if you apply now, or let's say if you apply in the next 2 weeks or in your winter break, because I think most of you are trying, like you have quite a lot to do in your final years, of course, and then the winter break is a good opportunity for you to start your applications for universities. Then you'll receive an offer in 3-4 weeks, sometimes like I would say 4 to 6 weeks, especially if the early bird deadline is coming up. Then we see quite a peak of applications, of course. You can apply up to 4 different liberal arts and sciences programs in StudyLink. StudyLink, for the ones who are unfamiliar with the term, StudyLink is the Dutch national platform where every student or aspiring student needs to start their application. So that's basically where you'll put your personal details, and you can then apply for up to 4 different liberal arts and sciences programs. Of course, there's no need to graduate before applying. I think most of you are in your final year, but of course, that's an assumption of mine. But there's no need to graduate before applying, and of course, we can always make a decision based on the grades obtained thus far. Now, if you're interested, and I'm sneakily going to the next slide, if you're interested in our application process and our admission requirements, then I would say tune in. Let me see, we're on Monday today, so that's Wednesday at 4 Dutch time. Then my colleague Marika will tell you all about admissions at UCG. And I hope this was useful to you guys. Thank you so much for joining tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and hopefully I'll see you guys at a different session as well, because there are so many great sessions being hosted for you guys this week. It's honestly a great way for you to get a deeper understanding of the liberal arts and sciences program at UCG, because this was basically just an introductory session. And of course, I hope it was useful. Oh, this was a great one. Cecilia, how many people apply each year? Now, of course, we always have people who apply in StudyLink and then don't continue the process. But I would say we all start almost in StudyLink at least with about 800 to 900 students or applications, but that is basically everything. So I definitely don't want to discourage you, because that has people in it who don't finish their application or are not admissible based on the admission requirements. So it can be a variety of things. Now, if you're curious, I would say if you apply before the early bird deadline, there's a very high, and of course you meet the admission requirements, there's a very high chance of you getting into the program. Oh, Cecilia, what is the main difference between UCG and other university colleges in the Netherlands? That's a great question. So we have, I believe, around 10 other UCs in the Netherlands. What I would say are the differences between each and every one of them is that everyone has their little focus, like a light shift in focus. So it's the way we have built the liberal arts and sciences program. For us, for example, it's the free major, and that you'll have some freedom to explore in the first year. I would say we're not the smallest university college, but we are on the smaller side. So the student body is about 400 to 450 students. We have an intake of 150, and I think yeah, the other UCs, it ranges. So some have an intake from 75 students a year, others have an intake of 300 students a year. So it really depends on your personal preferences. I think everyone offers housing, at least in the first year. And then also it depends whether or not you can only have housing in the first year, or if you have housing in all the years. For us, it's optional to have it in all 3 years, for example. So it really depends. And of course, there's the cities. So if some university colleges are based in the city center of that city, just as we are in Groningen, and then some are a little bit outside the city center. Some are on more of a science park. So it really depends what you'd like to gain out of your university college experience, if that answers your question. My tip to you would be try to research all of them, or the ones that you're interested in. And if you have the opportunity to come to the Netherlands or visit the UCs, that will be very beneficial. And otherwise, I think it's a great step to already start exploring the options with information sessions online just like these. I hope that answers your question, Cecilia. What percent of students in the program are international? Oh, I love that question. I can't believe I didn't mention that in our community part. So we do have quite an international student body, I must say. And I think that's also because of the international character of liberal arts and sciences. I would say we have about 65 to 70% of our students are of a non-Dutch origin. And of that percentage, about 10% has a non-EU nationality and the others EU nationality. But I must say that quite a lot of our Dutch students also have a very international background, and this could be that they have gone to an international school or they have lived abroad and they are now coming back to the Netherlands to study here. Oh, where do students live in the second and third year? So that's completely up to our second and third year students. Some second years have decided to stay in Libertas and maybe they'll move out in the third year. But basically, you can choose to stay in Libertas or in your room for the entirety of your bachelor program. Now, what we do see is that if students go on exchange, then they'll move out after the second year, and once they'll come back, then they'll find a space on their own. The reason why we do have guaranteed housing for our first years is because if Groningen is a completely new city to you, it can be really difficult and also quite overwhelming to find housing, considering the state of student housing in the Netherlands. So that's why we do have guaranteed housing for our first years. And then what we do see is that once you have settled in the city and you've quite expanded your social network, then sometimes it can be a little bit easier to move if that's something that you'd like, of course. Let's see. I hope that answers your question, by the way. How much interaction, both socially and academically, is there with the larger University of Groningen? Oh, I love that question. Honestly, I don't think I've ever had this one before. But there's quite a lot. I would say it depends. For socially, it depends on how much interaction you want to gain out of that. So we do have students who join either like a sports club outside of UCG, or they join a cultural committee outside of UCG, and of course you yes. So of course you have the nightlife where you meet different people. And basically, as a student life, you'll meet different students from all over the University of Groningen. Just by living in the city center of Groningen, I must say. So socially, it's really up to you how much you'd like to get out of UCG and mingle with other students of the university. Specifically, if students are going to choose a university minor at the University of Groningen, then of course you'll mingle with the students that you'll do that minor with. So socially, it really depends. Then academically, there are quite some guest lectures that you will be able to access as well. Of course, all of the services, so the university services, are there for you as well. If you want to make use of the university library, that's absolutely fine, because you are, of course, you're a University College Groningen student, but on top of that, you're seen as a university student. So you'll have access to all of the resources of the university as a whole. And so that can be career services, personal services, guidance services, the university library. So yeah, you're both a UCG student and a University of Groningen student, if that makes sense. I hope so. Let's see. Oh, I'm really happy that this was so helpful. That honestly makes my evening. I'm really happy that you all tuned in. It's always nicer to talk to actual people, of course, than to talk to a screen, but I think we had quite some interaction here. So I want to thank you all for being so inquisitive, for being a great little group of people, and I really hope that this sparked some interest in UCG, and I really hope to see you at the other sessions as well. All right. Well, take care. Have a lovely evening wherever you are. Oh, lovely. Okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow then, and enjoy your evening. Bye bye.